Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you back to XRL. XRL's Realistic League. We continue to be in this eternal purgatory that is known as non-points races. However, things continue to be very interesting within this because today is the first added track to F1 2021 in the form of Portimao, Portugal's own circuit. Basically Catalonia, but a little bit better. Because go figure, Portugal can do things better than Spain. Portugal was able to finance expeditions better than Spain back in the day. Portugal did fascism better than Spain, apparently, because they didn't have to tear themselves apart in a massive World War II beta. Now they apparently can do a Formula 1 Grade 1 racetrack better. As we prepare to load onto the circuit proper, 20 drivers to a full field for today's event. This can get very interesting very quickly. I will admit, I'm not super familiar with the circuit myself, especially considering that F1 has only ran 2 races on here in the last several, decades. But it's still going to be a very interesting race to watch irregardless, because this will also serve as a chance due to another patch which has happened recently, which has rebalanced the cars. This will be a new chance to see if drivers will be able to stay in their car that they've been in thus far in the prior non-points paying races, or if they will get to be in something else. Seconds, 16 seconds, 15 seconds. So yeah, as I was saying, some of the car balances have been retweaked. For instance, the Williams is anticipated to no longer be as slow as the Haas. It's actually anticipated to be up to speed closer to the Alfa Romeo or the AlphaTauris maybe. As on the other hand, the expectation is that McLaren will be a lot faster and Ferrari will be a little bit slower as well. So it could be very interesting to see how things are rebalanced. We may see drivers doing much better than we normally do in XRL. As prepared to get onto the circuit for first laps of qualifying here. Interestingly enough, Mazda on the medium tires to start this session off with. I don't know if he'll stay on that, but for now at least he is on mediums. And the first drivers to get onto the circuit will be XRL Mazda, the AlphaTauri. He's joined by El Frisbee and Sasha Andre, along with the other Haas. McLaren of Collie Boy is out on the circuit. You can see one of the Ferraris already coming onto the circuit. That's Carlos Jackson. But right now the focus is going to be on Mazda, as he's taking our first lap here. In fact, once we get to the end of this lap, we'll go silent and right on board with him for a full lap around here, so you can get the very first flyer lap experience for XRL in this new circuit. Absolutely love how hilly this circuit is, though. It's not going to be great for overtaking. I don't think we're going to see very much passing out, if any, in this race. However, we're going to be looking at absolutely fantastic view throughout most of this circuit. I absolutely love these final few corners. A lot faster, a lot speedier than what you have at Catalonia, which make them a lot more practical. We'll go silent for a full lap on board with XR Mazda here at Portimao. while he'll come into the track right afterwards, so he didn't officially complete the lap. That is going to be the majority of the lap, at least, on board with XRL Ozda, and validated very early in Sector 1, so it's going to be a while until we see our first driver actually set a proper lap time. I believe, though, that first driver will be this man here, XRL Gusty. No, it's not going to be Gusty. It will probably be one of the McLarens. In fact, it would probably be Collie Boy in that scenario. The first lap time that everyone will have to start chasing at Portimao will be a lap time of 1 minute 18.930. Already, Carlos Jackson, Dave Ewart, XRL Raptors, so both of the Red Bulls immediately add their names to the bunch of drivers who have set lap times. Oh, that's a little bit twishy there, and it's going to invalidate it as well. And a little bit of insult to injury, as they say. This is XRL Fiend here. The Alpine, he's invalidated though. Davis Dawn has just set a time of 118.760 in the Ferrari. And now this is Sasha Andre, who's coming to the pits. Elfin Starfish in the Williams, he's invalidated as well. So a lot of drivers have set lap times, but even more seem to be invalidating very quickly here. This is Ollie in the Alfa Romeo. Across the line, he goes fourth fast. Oh, and Dave Ewart's out! But has he retired because of an accident, or is there something else that has led to it? Yes, it appears that Dave Ewart has had an accident just over the hill. Very hard in here to see what he has to say. But a very early accident in Q1 here. As we continue right on board with El Frisbee, who's trying to improve his time. His first time was legal, but not even remotely competitive. Being very hard on the ERS and DRS. Very close to the pit-in barrier. But he will jump up to 5th with 119.109. Alright, and coming into the party now is Dave Ewart. Dave, first driver to have an accident here in Portimao in an XRL sanctioned event. What happened there?
Just pure driver error. Went round the corner, just lost the back end and just couldn't control it again.
Alright, so now I just have to ask, do you think there's a possibility you'll be able to recover in the race itself?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's going to be a number of safety cars throughout the race, so there's going to be opportunities for overtaking, and I just need to throw it up inside a few times and we'll see what happens.
Alright, well, we'll be looking forward to trying to charge up to the field from what will be a last place starting position.
Thank you.
Alright, last word from Dave Ewart. Gotta talk with him and several of his Scottish friends before getting into this race. Not really hyped for this circuit because it's just so twisty. They don't feel like there's a whole lot of places to make proper overtakes. As Ozda, who's the first driver to try and set a lap, invalidated right away, he did it on the mediums. Now he's on the softs. He's going for an actual, more proper lap. You can see that's XRL Raptors going right now as Raptors pulled off circuit. Sector 2 for Ozda. And Bulbies now goes to the top in the Aston Martin with a 118.178. There's an Alfa Romeo up ahead that's going to be coming to the pits as the other Aston Martin, that will be Mr. Anderson, will cross the line. He'll set a time of 118.708. So the Aston Martin is looking very strong right now as Ozda says a time of 119.184. This is TIR Flavor. He said 123.052. Elfin Starfish, another invalid lap. Sasha Andre, not at the fastest right now. He has yet to set a lap time. Also, again, this is a normal qualifying session. Well, right now, a lot of these drivers are trying to figure out the circuit. Only the top 15 fastest in this group will advance into Q2. We have 14 drivers who have set lap times thus far, but Dave Ewart, with the incident, will not advance irregardless of what happens. heading down now into a final massively sweeping corner. Again, I absolutely love this sector right here. It's so good watching them fly through this and pop off the hill just as they come across the line. Sasha will set a lap time of 120.024 in the Haas. Elfin Starfish, he's invalidated, as has Zola. Level 6 Beastian, though, 55.046 at the end of Sector 2. There's one more really hard braking point right here. He's already gotten through it. He'll put the gas on, then there'll be another slightly less aggressive braking point. And then it's all full throttle for the rest of this lap. Almost blind through some of these corners. Not pure blind, but almost blind. We see it will set a lap time of 121.213. So as it is right now, Dave Ewart is on the outside. He's not going to advance. TIR Flavor is on the outside looking in. BCN, the time he has right now, will not be good enough either. He will need to do better once other drivers start saying lap times. Zola, as we said earlier, he's invalidated. Fiend is in the middle of a lap right now. And Smoothie 25 is also out on circuit right now, setting up for a flyer. We will be right on board with Smoothie in a bit here, but right now I just want to keep looking at these fast lane shots. I absolutely love how this circuit looks. Nice and hilly. A lot of different kinds of corners. Almost all of them slow to medium speed, but a lot of them really, really unique because of the various rise and falls throughout the geography of this entire circuit. Fiend going to try and be the 17th driver set a time in this session. So one more braking zone to go. And now it's full bore, full send. And he invalidates by going too far, too wide. Run down to the last corner. So he's going to have, ideally he'll come into the pits, except for another run. But we're going to go silent. I'm right on board with a full lap on board with Smoothie 25 and the AlphaTauri. See what it's like on a proper flyer here in Portugal. It's a 119.107, comparable to his teammate Oz's fastest time. As it stands right now, Sasha Andre is on the bubble with a 120.024 with the Mercedes of level 6 Beastian and TIR Flavor on the outside looking in, and Elfin Starfish has had a spin while he was in the middle of a flyer. It was actually a purple sector 2 for Starfish, but as long as those tires aren't too badly damaged, he could go for another lap. If the tires aren't too badly damaged and he still has fuel. Five minutes left in Q1. And he will go for another lap. Again, 4 laps on the soft tire, so they're going to start feeling a little bit of wear here. And he's going to come up. That's a Ferrari that's pulled over. That is Careless Jackson, who was pulled over thus far. As Zola retires in pit lane, he feels very confident with his 118.770. Right now, it seems like if you want a chance of making it into the next round of qualifying, you need to be saying times in the 119s or faster. Right now, there's a host of drivers who are around the bubble, rushing to get back on circuit. Ledger, Gusty, Jackson, Sasha Andre, and Level 6 Beastie all rushing to get out onto the track. All relatively close to each other on the circuit as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing them compromising each other's laps. Also, Smoothie and Ozda are really close to each other on the circuit. I wonder if Smoothie will try and give Ozda a bit of a DRS assist going down the main straightaway. And that's the other thing. There are only 2 straights here on this circuit long enough to warrant DRS, and Starfishes will come in. So he did not feel confident with the lap that he was going for. He'll bring it into the pit lane. So Starfish and Fiend both have yet to set lap times, but the focus is going to be, well, this is one of the drivers that the focus is going to be on Level 6 BCM, but Gusty. Right now he's 13th fastest with 119.692, but if drivers lower down start improving, he might end up on the outside looking in. He's trying to be proactive about it and ensure his run into Q2. And that's the other thing. If you can get into Q2, that's several more laps that you can take to get familiar with the circuit, familiar with how the circuit flows. Raptor retires from the session with a 118.228, so he feels very confident with his time, and it's the second fastest time thus far in the session, so I don't blame him one bit for that. A little bit of a slide out of the rear of the Alpine. His teammate XRL Fiend is also coming out onto the circuit as well right now. And Ledger retires from the session in the pit lane with a 119.597. I don't know if I'd feel confident retiring with the time only that quick, but it's an interesting gamble, to say the least. To the line. 119.470, so it does bump him up just a little bit. Oh! Carlos Jackson has had an accident, and the entire front wing has been ripped off that Ferrari. As Sasha Andre is on the run down to the line, trying to beat Carlos Jackson's time and put some distance between himself and the drop zone. He does improve, 119.668. So now Carlos Jackson is a driver on the bubble. That's a very, very rough time for him. It's going to be a long run back to the pit lane. I don't know if Carlos Jackson is going to have time to get back into the pit lane, replace him. In fact, no, he's not. There's 1 minute and 35 seconds left in the session. Starfish and Fiend are on track right now. Fiend has just begun his flyer, and these two may end up wreaking havoc on Sasha Andre and Carlos Jackson. Level 6 Beastie is also still on circuit right now, as is TIR Flavor, who is on an outlap, but I don't know if TIR Flavor will make it to the line in time to get another flyer in. For Fiend and Elf and Starfish, who is farther back on the circuit back in Sector 1. This is their last shot to try and make it into Q2. That's one of the AlphaTauris who went off there. Got a little bit tight. I believe that would be Ozda, as his teammate Smoothie is already retired from the session. Level 6 Beastie is currently ahead of Fiend. I'm sorry, no, that was Flavor who was ahead. So Flavor's getting left. Fiend gets a time of 118.769. That upends everything. Sasha Andre is back on the bubble. Carlos Jackson's on the outside looking in. And with the way it's looking right now, it might not be enough for Sasha either, because Elephant Starfish is looking to be on a good lap right now. He might kick Sasha out. Time is up in the session. The rear wing opens, and at the line, Starfish, 118.823, that's it. The Mercedes are going to be on the outside looking in, unless TIR Flavor can pull out something tremendous here, or if Sasha Andre might also be able to make something happen. No, he's invalidated the lap he's in the middle of. It's all down to Flavor. What can he do? Well, I don't know what went on there, but that's it. It's over then. Sasha Andre will not advance. Neither will Carlos Jackson, Level 6 Beastin, Dave Ewart, or Tiara Flavor. The drivers who will advance, though, will be XRL Ledger, XRL Gusty, Ryan Hurricane, L Frisbee, XRL Ozda, Collie Boy, XRL Ollie, Smoothie 25, Elfin Starfish 19, XRL Zola, XRL Fiend, Davis Gone, Mr. Anderson, XRL Raptor, and BD Bullbeast. Bullbeast with the fastest time of them all, 118.178, and the Aston Martins seem to be very much quick today. Both of them setting times in the 118 range. So, not just the 118 range, faster than 118 and 3/4 at that. So the session should come to a close very shortly here. And there you have it. This is your results. The top 14, I'll go on down so you can see the slower drivers as well and make sure they're properly marked for the race itself. Alright, and now we begin to come onto the circuit for the second round of qualifying. And we say this every time, Q2 is always an interesting one because it for the top 10 fastest at the end of Q2, it determines what tire compound they'll be on, and there becomes a massive battle going on within the drivers' heads of, hey, do I want to go for track position? Do I want to potentially take a slower time, gamble on not making the top 10, but have a better tire strategy for the race? It looks like Elfin Starfish will be one of the first drivers to get onto the circuit, as will El Frisbee in the Haas. So one Haas made it in, the other did not. Right now, the battle seems to be a little bit more in favor for the medium tire compounds. I see 6 softs and 9 mediums. Wait, am I counting that right? I'm not. 7 softs and 8 mediums. So it's a slightly in favor of the mediums. Also on track is XRL Ozda, as is Collie Boy in the McLaren, and XRL Gusty in the Alpine. But not as much of a rush to get on circuit in this session as we saw in the prior one. Right now, there only seem to be about 5 cars. Well, we're seeing another one. That's XRL Raptor and the Red Bull coming onto the circuit. One of the 2 Red Bulls that were able to advance into this session. Raptor spent a large portion of last year's XRL in the Mercedes struggling in the back of the field. A lot of the times not even being able to finish races, but it's been a massive turnaround since the change from Mercedes to Red Bull for him. He's been earning podiums now, 2 podiums thus far, even though, you know, we're not in an actual championship, so they don't actually mean anything. And his performance has significantly improved. His confidence is much higher as well. It's been absolutely wonderful to see Raptor make the turnaround. Frisbee sets the fastest lap thus far in the session, the time everyone else will be chasing. So 118.9 on the softs and 119.650 on the mediums. Gussie coming down at the end of Sector 2, 54.342 right now. Ollie and Bullbeast are on outlaps as well. They've just recently come onto the circuit, as is Mr. Anderson, who is Bullbeast's teammate. Now again, Bullbeast's fastest time at the end of Q1, Mr. Anderson, 3rd fastest time, so those two will be interesting to watch. We could see a very strong performance by the Aston Martin group today. Be interesting to watch what Bullbeast can do, and same with Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson, one of the other guys got a chance to talk to earlier in the race. Hopes weren't super high for him. He honestly anticipated that he would have an incident that would bend him out of either the qualifying sessions or the race itself. But we're going to go silent and right on board. Well, you saw it there. That was a full lap on board with Mr. Anderson. And then you have 3 very awkward, varying degree corners coming onto this short mini straight, which has DRS, but like the backstretch at Catalunya, it's not really long enough to facilitate overtaking. Well, I'll take that back. You might be able to overtake on that miniature back straightaway if the driver ahead makes a significant mistake. Anyways, the focus back on circuit. Oh, and Mr. Anderson goes off circuit. And Mr. Anderson has a spin, but he's able to keep it on track altogether for the most part. He has the 6th fastest time thus far. His teammate BD Bullbeast has the 2nd fastest and the fastest on the mediums. But of note, at this point, Frisbee, who set the fastest time on the softs, has elected to come in, take up the softs, and throw on a set of mediums. This is Zola, one of the heads of XRL. Coming on the run down to the final corners. He's going to try and be the 10th driver to set a time in this session. And he will set a time of 119.656 5 drivers have yet to set laps, but we should see that change very shortly because the 2 Ferraris are coming to the line. James Londo has invalidated his lap. Ryan Hurricane in the Alfa Romeo at the line will go ahead and set a time 119.601. He is on the soft tire compounds as well. Oh, and he's around! Pushed a little bit too hard on his following lap, and a spin out of that near 90 degree corner. So if I was in his position, I'd start saving the ERS, and if you're gonna come in, try and get back in as quickly as possible, because there's only 6.5 minutes, less than 6.5 minutes left in the session. This is XRL Ledger on the run down to the line. His teammate Starfish has already set a time. Ledger sets a time of 134.013, not a very competitive one. He must have had a spin or had to pull off for a significant period of time somewhere. Smoothie 25 is on the run down, as well as Jabez John. Don invalidated on his prior lap, so this will be his first serious attempt here. Again, also take note of El Frisbee. He is on circuit trying to improve on the time with softs with medium tires. And Bullbeast has gone back to the top with a 118.386. And Mr. Anderson, again, third fastest, 119.132. James Nom, 119.184. Gusty, 13th right now. He's on an outlap trying to go faster. As it is right now, Call Boy is the only driver on circuit who has yet to set a lap time. XRL Ozda is on the bubble with a 119.544 with Ryan Hurricane, Smoothie 25, Gusty, and Ledger on the outside looking in, and Call Boy could be the wild card in that. Gusty has the soft tire compounds equipped, so we're now beginning to see the changeover point where drivers who set their fastest on mediums are electing to go on to softs because they don't feel that the mediums are fast enough to get them into the next round of qualifying. Gusty is one of them. We may see similar things from Ledger shortly here. Smoothie 25 is still on the mediums, interestingly enough. Will he improve? He does. So he takes his teammate Ozda out. Smoothie, 119.368. Ozda's already aware he's on an outlap with soft tire compounds equipped, so he is prepared. Gusty, looking to really throw a wrench into things. Zola is on the bubble. He could end up on the outside very shortly. And just behind Gusty on the racetrack is Collie Boy in the lone McLaren, who has yet to set a time. Zola retired relatively early in Q1, but it doesn't look like anyone is retiring that early in Q2. The gap between the fastest and the second slowest is 1.3 seconds. And Gusty is in with the soft tire compounds, 119.228. So now as Zola is on the outside, he is merging onto the circuit now. And his teammate Collie Boy will set a pace on the medium tires. He'll have enough time to do this in 2 more laps, maybe, or if he spins out, he could immediately come in and throw on a different set of tires, maybe softs, to try and go faster. Ryan Hurricane and XRL Ledger have now equipped new sets of tires, and they're coming out on circuit for new laps. Of note, Ledger is putting on softs. Ryan Hurricane is on another set of softs. Ozda is in the middle of a lap right now, and he also has the softs on. Zola has the softs on as well. Fiend is coming back onto the circuit. He does not feel comfortable. He is putting softs on his car. Smoothie 25 is still on circuit with what he already set his lap time on, medium tires. Here comes Collie Boy. 53.494 at the end of Sector 2. It was a purple Sector 2. Out of the final braking zone. Now it's full throttle. A little bit blind this bit of a corner here as it sinks down low and then it rises back over the hill, coming across the start-finish line. Macaulay Boy will set a lap time of 1:19.251. Frisbee has jumped up to third with his soft tires, and he's going to go again. Raptor is second with his soft tires. Mr. Anderson and Bull Beast on the mediums are still top 5 in pace. Ozza breaks in the top 3, 1:18.759 with the softs. Zola trying to go faster on the softs. Ryan Hurricane has invalidated the lap he's in the middle of, as has Ledger. It's not looking good for them. Fiend is trying to rush to get to the line sooner rather than later, as Smoothie 25 is in the pits. Collie Boy is on the bubble already. He got in, but he immediately has been knocked back onto the bubble. He needs to go faster. There's 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the session. He is locked in to running these final laps on the mediums. Smoothie 25 has retired from the session in the pit lane. He admits that he cannot go faster. Zola has invalidated the lap he is currently in the middle of. It is a race for him to get back to the start-finish line in time. Ryan Hurricane, though, is in the middle of a valid lap. Ledger has also invalidated his own. Collie Boy on the run down to the start-finish line, trying to go faster. He's slower by roughly a full 10th. As Zola now begins his flyer. Raptor retires from the session, as does Bull Beast. They both know that they're locked into the next session. .575. Zola is up by a quarter of a second at the end of Sector 1. Fiend is up by 3,700, so this could go very well for Fiend. He might be able to squeeze Collie Boy out. Collie has invalidated the lap he's in the middle of, and this time is almost up in the session. Ryan Hurricane is on the run to the start-finish line right now. The time is up in the session. Will he advance? He kicks himself up in the 5th with a 1:18.995. Collie Boy is out. Now Elfin Starfish is out. Jabez John is on the bubble, but he is on pace to go faster. He is up by nearly 3/4 of a second right now. Collie Boy, invalid lap. Zola, still valid. Ledger has invalidated, so he is not going to make it. Jabez John and Zola are the 2 drivers to watch right now, as Zola is on the run down to the start-finish line. The rear DRS will pop open as he crosses the line. It's a 1:18.932. Ollie is now on the outside, and he has invalidated his lap. Jabez John will not advance. He improved, but not by enough. And because Ollie has invalidated his lap, Collie Boy is in the pits, and Ledger has a spin after he's already invalidated his lap. The session, for all intents and purposes, is over. And it seems very plain to me that the soft tire compounds was the thing to go with unless you were in the Aston Martins. Mr. Anderson and BG Bull Beast are 2 of only 3 drivers able to make it into Q3 on the medium tires, with Ollie barely squeaking in. So it seems very plain to me that as the biggest change in the rebalancing, at least on this circuit, is that the Aston Martins are significantly faster than they were before. Ledger, another spin, this one on the front straightaway. So with this in mind, this session has come to a close, and for being a brand new circuit, although we have seen a few drivers spin or slide off track, we've not really seen a lot of significant incidents. In fact, of the 2 qualifying sessions we've seen thus far, only 1 accident has occurred that has taken a driver out of the session. So as you can see right there, 5 drivers who do not advance: Davis, Dallin, Starfish, Cullyboy, Smoothie, and Ledger. And good job on Frisbee's part dragging that Haas to the second fastest time, third fastest overall, but second fastest on the soft tire compounds as we prepare to come onto the circuit now for qualifying session 3, the shootout for the pole. Don't have to worry about taking a weird choice of tires. Just throw on the sauce and go as fast as you can. And right now, I'm going to be very honest, I think it's extremely likely that BG Bullbeast is going to walk out of here with the pole position. Just waiting for our first drivers to get onto the circuit now. And there we are. It looks like it's going to be BG Bullbeast. He wants to immediately go out and assert his dominance on the field. He's not going to be the only one to come out early, though. That is L. Frisbee and the Haas. Both been putting on some very impressive drives thus far in the day today. Will be the first driver to cross the line, and we will spend a full lap on board with Bullbeast to see what he can do. Coming to the line, and he'll begin his flying lap. We're going to go silent and just ride on board. The time that BG Bullbeast sets on his first flying lap is 118.069. 6 of our 10 drivers are currently on circuit right now. This is Gusty in the Alpine. He's a little bit behind Raptor, who's in the Red Bull. That's Raptor ahead of him, right? Yes, that is Raptor. So Raptor will try and be a third driver across the line. Ryan Hurricanes at the time of 119.048. One thing for certain, at least under a few laps, the soft tire compounds significantly faster than 8th in the medium set. Raptor to the top, 117.981. He's the first driver to take the fastest time from Bullbeast in a while. I'll be interested to see if Bullbeast has a faster lap in store, though. He's down on time right now, so this is his cooldown lap. He's going to set for another one later. This is Zola and then McLaren as he is on the run to the start-finish line. He will set a lap time of 1:18.366. That's the third best thus far. Ollie is on an out lap right now, just letting other drivers go by. Frisbee and the Haas has invalidated his laps. So So he's going to have to go around again. Problem is, his fuel is low, so he's just going to have to come into the pits. He was one of the first drivers to come onto the circuit, was not able to set a single clean lap. Frustration in the Haas team. There is still 7 minutes and 20 seconds left in the session, though, so he will have time to do another actual proper lap. But as it stands right now, 5 drivers have set times. 2 more are setting themselves up for the times, and 3 of them, Ozda, Fiend, and Frisbee, are in pit lane. I take that back. Ozda is now out on the circuit, and Zola has had a spin in turn 2, and we saw it there as Mr. Anderson went by. Anderson has been putting on very respectable times. Not quite as good as his teammate Bullbeast, but he is without a doubt one of the faster drivers on the circuit, despite having to spin earlier in the prior session. So watch him. He could be an outside threat for the pole if he's been holding back and saving some for this. Run down the start-finish line for Anderson. It will be a time of 1. Well, no, he's beginning his lap. I'm sorry. I thought he was in the middle of it. I take that back. Ollie, though, is in the middle of a lap right now in the Alfa Romeo. His teammate Ryan Hurricane has set a time of 1:19.048. Ollie trying to match or beat that. Only one driver thus far has broken the 1:18 barrier. That is XRL Raptor. BG Bullbeast is out on circuit. He's come back in right away, though. Ozda in the middle of a lap right now. First attempt. Going for the pole here. Nas has always been one of the more interesting drivers to watch within XRL. He'll set one lap that's absolutely extreme, incredibly intelligent. Extreme lap, incredibly competent, and the very next lap, he can end up having one of the worst times ever with multiple spins. It's almost a roll of a dice every lap for Ozda. The problem is that has also led to him missing out on a lot of races. He just doesn't have a whole lot of consistency lap to lap, let alone over the course of an entire race. And XRL Raptor is going to retire from the session in the pit lane, so he feels very confident in his lap time, his sub 1:18 lap time, mind you. He doesn't think that anyone's gonna beat it. Ozda right now trying to be the 8th driver to set a lap time in the session. Out of the final braking zone, now on the run down to the start-finish line. It's all full throttle. This final corner, it gets a little bit blind, not super blind, but a little bit blind through it. But you just lay on the gas all the way through it, and at the line, he'll set a lap time of 1:18.761. Gusty is on an outlap, as is his teammate Fiend, but they're on different parts of the circuit, so they're not going to be able to help each other. Ryan Hurricane is coming back onto the circuit as well. Bullbeast and Zola are back on track also, trying to see if they can go a little bit faster. Bullbeast specifically wants to go for the pole position because he's been the fastest in every prior session. Ollie crosses the line. He is up by over 4/10. That brings him up into the 5th position as it would stand right now. Mr. Anderson has invalidated the lap he is in the middle of, but he has 62% ERS left, and his fuel doesn't seem to be an issue, so he can go for another flying lap here if he so chooses. He breaks it into the pits instead. Ozda's gone off just a little bit, but I think he's on a cooldown lap right now. Gusty in the middle of a lap right now, as is Fiend. Fiend, in fact, not in the middle of a lap at the moment, but he's going to begin a lap very shortly. He'll be attempting, at least, to be the 9th driver to set a lap time in the session. El Frisbee is coming back out onto the circuit as we speak. Also of note, BG Bullbeast is beginning is on his second attempt at a lap right now. In fact, we're going to turn our focus to him. Is he up on time? He is invalidated, actually, as first attempt at bettering. So Fiend is going to cross the line with a time of 1:18.536. Is good enough for 5th. Frisbee is on an outlap right now. But for Bullbeast, there's a little bit more than 2 minutes left in the session. I hope they filled that thing really full of fuel. He's laying hard on the ERS right now. And he's on the main straightaway, beginning a second attempt at a proper flyer that will be faster than his last one. No one except XRL Raptor has broken, and he invalidates immediately in turn 1. So you have to hope that they have a lot of fuel in that machine, and that he can make it back to the start-finish line in time. Gusty retires from the session in the pit lane. He feels very confident in what he's done. So now the focus goes to Frisbee. He is in the middle of a clean lap, and he's been very, very subtly quick throughout the set. Well, not really subtly. I've definitely been paying attention to it. But Gusty's been very quick in the Haas thus far. He may have a time good enough to get him into the top 4. Also, Mr. Anderson is out on circuit, trying to get one more shot at a flyer. Every single car who is not retired from the session is on circuit, as Fiend is now coming to the pits as well. He is retiring. Ooh, Frisbee a little bit squirrely out of the rear end going downhill there, but it's still legal. It didn't even really upset him. Can Frisbee break into the front row? Can anybody break the 118 barrier who's not named XRL Raptor? Mr. Anderson will cross the line to begin his flying lap. No, I'm sorry, that wasn't Mr. Anderson, that was Bullbeast. Bullbeast in the middle of another lap. Frisbee goes up to 7th fastest, 1:18.749, and there is enough time left that he can go for one more shot at it. Ryan Hurricane crosses the line for another shot at it. Now everyone on track is going for one more lap. The first one across the line will be Zola, but he is invalidated already. BG Bullbeast down on time in Sector 1 compared to his prior lap. Ozda is down on time compared to his prior lap at the end of Sector 1, but he gained all that back and more in Sector 2, so Ozda could go faster yet. Frisbee has had a spin. He's going to invalidate his lap in the process. Mr. Anderson has invalidated his lap. Zola's already invalidated, as we said. The focus now goes to Bullbeast. He is still down on time, and he's invalidated. So, oh, and Zola's had a massive accident coming out of the final corner. He's still able to keep it going. Ozza improves up to 5th with a 1:18.433. Ollie in the middle of the lap right now, as is Ryan Hurricane. The two Alfa Romeos are looking to play spoiler for the top 4 faster cars right now. And for XRL Raptor, an incredible run for the pole position after Bullbeast set a really good lap, just left a little bit on the table, and every time he went back out to get it, he kept invalidating. Hurricane across the line, proves up to 8th. Ollie across the line, he is down on time, so he will not improve. And as we already said, Frisbee is invalidated, and Vinny crashes with a massive accident coming into the pit lane. He tried swerving into the pit lane, lost control, and ripped off the entire right front of the car, entering the pits. And you saw it right here on screen. But in the end, just like Sebastian Vettel's drive at Singapore back in his championship days in Red Bull, Raptor in the Red Bull only needed one lap to get the pole position with a 1:17.981, the only driver to break the 118 barrier here today. Bullbeast will start on the front row with him. Zola will be 3rd, Mr. Anderson will be 4th, XRL Ozda 5th, XRL Fiend 6th, XRL Ollie 7th, Ryan Hurricane 8th, L Frisbee 9th, and Gusty will be starting 10th in the race. A very fascinating qualifying session, and I don't think anyone would have tagged Raptor as stealing the pole. So now we just spend, it's going to be roughly a 5-minute wait until we get into the race itself. So it's just going to be a bit of a wait now until we get into the next round of qualifying here. I'm not round of qualifying, I'm sorry. The next session, which is the race itself. So now we just stand by until we get into the race itself. And again, a reminder, these are the tires that everyone in the top 10 are starting on. Ollie, Mr. Anderson, and Bull Beast will have slight advantage because they will be starting on medium tires, but almost everyone else seems to be starting on softs as well. Elephant Starfish outside the top 10 is starting on mediums, as is XRL Ledger, who is starting 15. But everybody else is starting on the soft. So 15 of our 20 drivers starting on the soft tire compounds, imagining that being fast early on will be more important than having pace with the mediums. And I'm not surprised because we saw that the amount of time you can gain on the softs compared to the mediums is massive. So yeah, this could end up being a very interesting run. And the other question is going to be, what will the ideal tire strategy be for today's race? Excuse me. So we're just staying by now until we get onto the circuit itself. We should be starting the race in about a minute's time. Well, and in about a minute's time, or a little less than that, maybe. Alright, so it looks like we'll be starting the race up in about 20 seconds. Alright, and here we go. 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's lights out and away we go here at Portimao. Around the bay, you can see Zola in the McLaren gets a great run off the start, but it's Bullbeast who's gonna sail to the front row, 3 wide, and there's all sorts of contact, and Raptor gets knocked backwards to the field. He's hit 3, maybe even 4 cars already. By the time they get into turn 2, he has plumped in all the way back to the 5th position as the Aston Martins are already trying to run off with this race here. And further back in the grid, you can see they're all single file for the moment. Frisbee is gonna get a little bit sideways. He's trying to push Gusty to the outside to defend against him, but he's actually going to end up overtaking Ozda, exiting the corner in the process. As the drag races are going up the hill, Ozda will have the latest choice going to the next corner, but Frisbee is a little bit faster on entry. So Ozda is now left fighting with Gusty. Ledger is trapped there, wanting to go with whoever is faster. He's on the inside of the Alpine as they go neck and neck uphill. Woo, great move there. He gets by him. Now he's going to get by Ozza. Ledger goes all the way up to the 8th position. Collie Boy is trying to hold off the Ferrari. He smacks the Ferrari and James down. James runs wide, but there's no damage on the Ferrari. He will be able to continue for a bit as level 6 Beastian is trying to close in on Smoothie 25. Sasha Andre has lost touch with the field. Ryan Hurricane is putting pressure on him. Starfish is a little bit further back. Dave Ewart is all the way back at 18th. Flavor is in 19th, and Careless Jackson is back there in 20th as a ton of cars are coming in the pits. Oh, and there's been an accident! The Ferrari of James Gunn has had an accident on the main straight, as has Dave Ewart. And that Ferrari is just far enough off the circuit that won't be an issue, but our first DNF for the day will be James Gunn, as Dave Ewart is going to bring it back around and get going again. We're going to try and bring James Gunn into the booth to hear what he has to say. Excuse me, as we continue to watch our leaders circle the field right now. Top 4 broken away from the field just a little bit. Raptor, despite starting on the pole, is already plummeted down to the 5th position. Oh, and now the other Ferrari has had an issue. That's Careless Jackson, who has had a spin in Sector 2 going uphill. There is a fight going on for 3rd. Mr. Anderson trying to bring something against Zola. The Aston Martin seem to be extremely overpowered here at Portimao today. Look at Anderson, even without DRS, he's just going to charge right on the outside of the McLaren. Can't get by him that easily, but he will move by. And the other thing is that those 2 Aston Martins have the advantage of being on medium tires, so the strategy world is open for him. Oh, and Zola goes around! And Zola spins out of the 3rd position, and he's going to fall from 3rd all the way out of the points playing spots down to 13th at the end of it. Might even lose that if TIR Flavor comes up with enough speed. Sasha Andre and Level 6 Beastian have a little bit of a duel going down that mini straight, but it's going to be Sasha who ends up ahead of Beastian. Ryan Hurricane there, even with Beastian for a brief moment. And Ozza now gets a time penalty for track violations. Collie Boy gets by Fiend, and now it's Gusty's turn to try and overtake his teammate, and he'll easily do it, as Fiend's not able to make the hairpin corner apex. Now it's the run down the straightaway. Now it's the run down onto the main straightaway. Fiend coming into the pit, so there must be some sort of wind damage on that car that we were not aware of. field is spreading out at this point, although Gusty is trying to make a move on the McLaren of Collie-Boy. Ryan Hurricane's gotten back by level 6 Beastian, going down the main straightaway, and now Frisbee has a time penalty. Interesting enough, even those drivers who elected to come into pit lane after taking damage in that first lap, most of them equipped soft or medium tires. Normally we see drivers involved in the first lap incident throwing on hards, but everyone there seemed to throw on softs or mediums. As Ozza gets by Fiend, Fiend is not having a very good time at all. Frisbee has caught up to Ledger. He's trying to make something happen there. Most of the fields opened up little gaps on each other. Ooh, Frisbee really close, really pushing the issue. A little bit of contact on exit, but Ledger has the position over Frisbee. Frisbee's going to have to find some other way by him because most of the circuit is all curves and uphills, and Beastian has had a spin, and that'll drop him out of the top 10 positions. He's going to come back onto the circuit, but he's going to fall behind his teammate Flavor and behind Careless Jackson. All the way down to 13, might even lose that to Dave Ewart because Dave has a head of steam of his own. Well, good news for Raptor is that he started on the pole, plummeted in the first few corners, but he has rebounded to third, not too far away from Mr. Anderson. But at the moment, the Aston Martin crew absolutely unstoppable right now as Careless Jackson gets by TIR Flavor for the 11th position. Farther back, Sasha Andre, right there behind Smoothie 25. But now you get back into the section of the circuit where aerodynamic wake is very important, and the advantage will go to that AlphaTauri rather than that Haas. As Zola is coming to the pits to repair damage. It looks like Fiend has had another spin coming onto the main straightaway. But this is the most potentially interesting. Oh, and Frisbee has just had a spin as well. Oh, and he goes right through. Not only has he had a spin, the entire front wing has been ripped off. And Frisbee, the fastest Haas in qualifying, is well out of the points with significant damage. Another spin. He is going to have to pit if he can even make it back to the line. Smoothie working on Gusty right now, going down the small kind of back straightaway. He throws his car up to the inside. They'll be side by side, but the Alpine will have the advantage, especially as they make contact, which kills Smoothie's momentum. As Fiend gets by Frisbee, as does Zola as well. So Frisbee will be the first driver to go a lap down in today's race. Smoothie continues to put incredible pressure on Gusty, and as it stands right now, he will have DRS on him. The interesting part of it all will be this man we're right on board with for the moment, Sasha Andre. He will have DRS on both of them, and he is recovering. Oh, and Frisbee has had a crash on the main straightaway, just past entrance. It's the start-finish. Entrance of the pits. Oh, and Dave Ewart's now had an accident, and he's out as well. Oh, and the accident, and Collie Boy's out. And a bunch of drivers are involved. Now Collie Boy's been involved in an incident. And that's a full course safety car as Frisbee, Dave Ewart, Collie Boy has all had incidents all around the circuit. We're going to try and get them all in here to hear what happened, but absolute chaos on the circuit. So now it's a full course yellow flag. No one seems to be in a position to take advantage of this full course safety car to get a free pit stop out of it. At least not immediately. But it's going to be a long full course safety car. We will likely see drivers electing to come into the pits. this lap, I imagine. But for Fiend and Zola, this is great for them because this means that they will be able to catch back up to the back of the field. So whatever happened to El Frisbee, Dave Ewart was not able to avoid. No, Dave Ewart had a separate incident. Dave Ewart crashed on his own, but El Frisbee had an incident coming uphill there, and Collie Boy hit him and took them out. As we currently are following our race leader at the moment. And it doesn't look like anyone's going to be coming into the pits. Gonna try one more time to get some of the drivers involved in that incident into the party with us. Alright, and coming into the party right now is Collie Boy. Collie Boy, go ahead and include your audio. Yeah, you look like you were having a decent run out there, but a massive accident takes you out. What happened?
I came round the corner behind Raptor in third, and I've seen Raptor like move out to the right, obviously try to avoid Frisbee. I've been watching. I've had mine Raptor. I wasn't sure if he was spinning out or not, just to make sure that I didn't hit him, and then I've just seen the back of Frisbee, and by then it was far too late. I was doing about 200 odd mile an hour. Just went straight in the back of him. So I barely even get time to get I don't even think I get time to get my foot in the brake. The time I'd noticed him. So, a bit unfortunate. Because I felt I was having a good race until that point, sitting P4. And I thought I was definitely catching the guys in front. Well, Raptor anyway, I don't know about the first and second. Bilby's, he was about 7 seconds ahead at that point, I think, probably more.
Well, I do have to say, you were putting on an outstanding show for McLaren at the moment, but now it's only your teammate Zola and the other McLaren on the circuit. Do you think he has a chance to make it back up to the field?
I don't know. I know that he was having a lot of issues there before the safety car with brakes. They were way overheated and they couldn't get them to cool down, so he had to leave and join back in. So I'm hoping with the safety car that kind of helps him and he can start making positions back up. Fingers crossed, just in case I'm watching and seeing though.
Alright, well again, it's an absolute shame to see that happen to you. And hopefully we'll see you have a better run tomorrow in one of the X1, X2, X3 race, whichever
I'm not to be in. Unfortunately missing it this weekend. Yeah, I've got a wedding tomorrow, so I'm missing. Unfortunately, this next year I was looking forward to it because I think I can start putting in a bit of a challenge in XT now. But I'll just need to wait till next Sunday.
Okay. Well, anyways, it's a shame to see you taken out, but hopefully it will be better for you in the future.
Cool. I'll speak to you later, guys.
Yep, very well. And we'll try one more time to get El Frisbee or Dave Ewart into the party, but I'm not certain it will work. I've sent them both 2 invites thus far. I've not had any luck, so. Anyways, the entire field under the safety car, and the most interesting part of it all, no one elected to pit under this full course safety car. So the strategies, for all intents and purposes, are nice and unchanged, and the biggest beneficiaries of this will be Beastian, Fiend, and Zola, as all 3 of those drivers will get a chance to catch the back of the grid. Although Fiend and Zola are still so far back, we continue to circle under the safety cars because of how far back they are. The field is still not fully gathered up. Zola is honestly so far back, we may not, I do think we'll go green coming out to lap 11, but he's probably not going to catch the back of the field until they get onto the mini straight back. And Zola electing to come into the pits now. I'm a little bit shocked that he didn't elect to come in earlier, but he's pitting now. So I imagine with that, are they going to extend the safety car another lap for him? What? As we look at the penalties thus far, no one has occurred more than 3 seconds worth of time penalties. So the field is still relatively well balanced, although if this was a safety car in the last 6 laps of a race rather than the first 12, that would be a different story. But yeah, Zola now 37 seconds off the back of the grid, and I don't see any chance that he's going to catch the back before we come back to the start-finish line. So I think either we're going to go green without him, or we will see another lap under the full court safety car. It's an absolutely fantastic shot right here, I'm just saying. There's the word, safety car will be coming in this lap. So for Zola, although he is on fresh tires, he has not caught the back of the grid. He is closing the gap respectively quick, but I don't think he'll catch him, or if he does, it will be just as they're coming in a line. Now the question is, can Raptor, who is on worn soft tires, do anything against the medium-equipped Aston Martins that are running 1-2 right now? And yes, it looks like Zola will catch the back of the grid, just barely, but he will catch it. As they come to the green flag, with a little bit of contact as Bulby's held up Anderson and Raptor. Raptor will end up losing significant time to the leaders, as Gusty is going to sneak by on the outside around the Red Bull. Run a little bit wide. Also, Sasha gets by Smoothie 25, and where is Spin? I believe that's Ozda, who has plummeted downwards through the field as well. Zola gets by Ryan Hurricanes. Hurricanes had an incident. Fiend has gotten by Flavor, who goes from 11th to 13th in the span of 3 corners. The Alpine of Fiend way off circuit back there. Zola already trying to make a move, and Raptor is fighting off Sasha Andre to stay in the top 4 positions. For now, he'll keep it. Starfish is going to be in a very interesting position because he's on medium tires while everyone else around him is on softs, and the softs are going to be falling off at about this point. Oh, and Flavor has had a spin off the circuit and will go to dead last. Oh, a little bit of contact as Kyrill's Jackson jumped to the outside of Starfish. Couldn't make the pass stick, but he's going to go for it again as they go uphill. Starfish has to run wide to not make more contact with the Ferrari, and in the end, Jackson will muscle and bully his way by the Alpine. Sorry, not Alpine, Williams. And now the Williams significantly slow. There is front wing damage on that car, and you will have to bring it into the pits, and that will really upset his run. Now the focus goes to Ollie, because Ollie is the next highest driver on circuit to have medium tires that is not in an Aston Martin, as Ozda gets by Fiend for the points paying position of 10th. If we're rewarding points, that is, this is a non-points paying race here. Oh, and Fiend spins out and rips off his entire front wing in the process, and he will plummet down the order, and that is a virtual safety car. That's great news for Elf and Starfish, because that means that the time he will lose compared to the leaders will be minimized. Now the question is anyone going to get penalized for trying to close the gap too much under the virtual safety car? You need to keep a positive delta. As we watch the 2 Aston Martins as they circle the field for the moment. And there we are back under green. It does not look like anyone's been giving a penalty for trying to close the gaps under the virtual safety car. The Fiend has gotten a time penalty for track violations. As Ledger and Smoothie going neck and neck, and the DRS has been enabled. Oh, look at that cut by Ledger right in front of Smoothie. Smoothie with a straighter line, does not scrub off the speed. He gets the nose of that Honda-powered machine out in front. Ledger has the preferred line of choice, but the Honda is ahead, has lane of choice overall, and he still has the lead after 3 straight corners, now after 4 straight to come back down the short back straightaway, and he will take the position for good. Smoothie trying to put on a very respectable defense on the outside, but on the outside of a hairpin will never work out for you. And now Carlos Jackson is right there, ready to capitalize, as is Ollie behind it. Carlos Jackson spins all by himself, going uphill. And that'll drop him out of the top 13. Frustration for him. So now Zola closing in on Ozza, who's closing in on Ollie. Ollie, Ozza, and Zola are all on medium tires, and Zola has very fresh medium tires as he put on new mediums under the safety car. Oh, Elfin Starfish has had a spin, TIR Flavor has had a spin, and XRL Fiend. 3 different drivers all had a spin at the exact same time, as Volbeat has just set the fastest lap again, and Sasha Andre with the DRS against XRL Raptor. Will he get the position? Indeed he does. Smoothie still working on Ledger. But if he wants to make this position, he needs to make it sooner rather than later, because the 3 cars behind him are on what is now better tires. Smoothie. You see Oz is having a little bit of trouble keeping up in the aerodynamic wake of Ollie and Smoothie together, and that's putting him under threat from Zola. But Ollie is going right after Smoothie at the moment. This is a battle for 7th position as Ledger's opened up the gap against him just a bit. Out of the final braking zone of the circuit, Ollie will have DRS. This will be his best chance to try and make something happen. You can see the rear wing open up on the AlphaTauri. Nothing you can do in that scenario. And Ollie will take 7th over Smoothie, as it seems very clear to me that the soft tire compounds are now falling away. Falling away from me. Falling away from me. Raptor within DRS range of Sasha, but not close enough to do anything with it. Same with Ledger against Raptor himself. And Ozza has gotten by Smoothie, and now Zola gets by Smoothie. So the tires are all but gone for him now. Fiend, another spin. And he threw on hard tire compounds when he came into the pits. He is now a lap down, and might even be under threat of going 2 laps down. And at the front, continues to be Aston Martin dominance by BG Bullbeast and Mr. Anderson. Ledger closing in on Raptor. Ledger has slightly fresher tires than Raptor does, but they're both still going to be hurting at this point in the event. He does have DRS on the Red Bull though. Closing the gap down. Can't do anything. One guy who is going to try and do something. Smoothie's ahead of Ryan Hurricane, and Carlos Jackson against level 6 BCN, and he will take it. So one Ferrari at least gaining positions after the other one DNFing very early, and Ledger gets by Raptor going down the short back straightaway. Most of the other battles on circuit have pretty much evaporated. Now the thing is going to be, this man here, Ollie, is going to be closing on Raptor. Raptor is hemorrhaging time with these soft tires now. You have to be considering, if you're in his shoes, you have to consider coming into the pits as soon as possible now. Oh, and Fiend has crashed out. So Fiend, I didn't see what had happened, but Fiend is now out of the event. We're going to try real quickly to get Fiend in here to hear what he has to say. Ollie just barely outside of DRS range against Raptor. He does have draft with no DRS, so Raptor will hold on to his position for one little bit longer. Alright, and coming in the party right now with us is XRL Fiend. Fiend, go ahead and include your audio. It's a rough day out there. What happened?
I just spanned. I spanned once, broke my wing, and then come out of the pits. Spin again at the same corner, and then my tyres are too hot, and then accelerate too hard, get my traction a bit too early, and the car just flips out. Take the warning gun.
Right, I do have to ask, at this point in the event, how do you feel about racing here at Portimao? As you know, brand new circuit for this game, brand new circuit within F1 in general over the last several decades. Do you think this circuit would be good enough to host XRL races across the other various divisions?
100%, yeah. It's an interesting race where it's easy to make mistakes. So in XRL, it would be very interesting to see in the future.
Alright, well, it's a shame to see you taken out, but thanks for sharing your opinions. Unless you have anything else to say, if you do, feel free to share it real quickly. But
No, thank you for having me on.
Alright, and we look forward to you having a more indicative drive over the rest of this weekend or coming into next weekend whenever we see you next.
Cool, thank you.
That's the word from XRL Fiend, who is our 50th of a day, as we look at Ledger and Sasha Andre having a very spirited fight for the 4th position. And farther back, Ollie has finally gotten by Raptor, so the soft tire is completely giving up now on that Red Bull. He will be under threat from Ozda and Zola very shortly. Oh, and Zola had to back way out to not run to the back of Ozda. He's going to lose a chunk of time in the process. Again, Zola is on much fresher tires than everyone else who was with the lead kind of group. So now, Raptor actually is close enough to Ollie. If he can stay there, he might be able to make something happen. Using DRS. So then, 6/10 actually closes just a little bit. The gap will naturally open up here in the aerodynamic wake, but he's still within range. He's got DRS, and Gusty is coming in the pit, so he'll be the first of the drivers on the soft tire compound to come in and pit. Raptor, using DRS and ERS, will close in on Ollie just a bit. Not enough to make a move, but he's definitely negating the performance hit that the soft tires have just a bit. He's still 1.3 seconds ahead of Ozda, and there's another straight coming up that he will use to be able to further extend the gap, hopefully, over Ozda. No, Ozda still closes just a little bit, as he is within draft range, but Ollie is closing in on Sasha, as Sasha continuing to feud with Ledger for the 3rd position. Nothing that Sasha can do throughout here unless the driver ahead makes a mistake. But the question is, when will Ledger, Sasha, and Raptor come into the pits to put on new tires? Gusty has already come in and equipped a set of mediums. It looks like Sasha and Ledger will stay out another lap, but Raptor is finally coming in. On a new set of tires, it will be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to Gusty. He's not alone. Ryan Hurricane also elected to come into the pit lane. Karis Jackson will stay out a little bit longer. Raptor put on another set of softs. So he will still have to make a tire change at some point in this event to a different compound. Oh, a little bit of contact as Sasha broke really late and got right in the rear end of Ledger. Not enough to do anything, but definitely is going to hurt him a bit as Ollie is now there. TIR Flavor will be the first driver to go a lap down. Frustrating for him. But the pace that the two Aston Martins are showing is far and beyond anything you normally would expect from a team here. It seemed like the rebalancing, at least for this circuit, has put Aston Martin on a much, much faster pace than where they were for most of the rest of this game. It's Ollie right there behind Sasha. Sasha, though, is going to elect to come into the pits, not going to waste any more time on this. But Ollie still got DRS and will be able to use it to try and close in on Ledger ahead. Careless Jackson staying out another lap on the soft tires. And Starfish has had a spin, and it will drop him down to the 14th position now. Raptor closing in on Ryan Hurricane, but of note, Sasha and Ryan are both ahead of Raptor right now. Raptor does have the faster tires than Ryan, but they're the same as what Sasha has. Zola finally gets by Ozza for the 5th position. BCN and Starfish is out of the race now. Looks like he's retired in pit lane at that. Raptor closing in on Ryan Hurricane. This is your pole sitter, but a very bad start, and then coupled with just dealing with the aerodynamic wake of the Aston Martins left him struggling on the softs, and he's just been plummeting through the grid for most of the day. Gusty's going to be in an interesting position. His tires are slightly older than everyone behind him, but everyone ahead still has yet to make their first stop. Gusty could easily find himself back in the top 5 once stops have been made. And the other driver in a very interesting position is this man here, Zola. His tires are still relatively fresh compared to everyone around him. He pitted under that yellow flag. They have some good positions. He's in 5th now, and while he's nowhere close to Ollie or Ledger, these two drivers have no choice. They're going to have to pit soon. Ledger especially, considering that Ledger is running on 19-lap-old soft tires. They're coming up on the lap traffic of TIR Flavor here. Flavor knows what is best. He'll pull over and let them by on the main straightaway. But if Ledger is going to be pitting, then he won't have to worry about pulling over yet. Will Ledger pit? Yes, Ledger is not going to come in pits. In fact, he's going to stay in the draft of TIR Flavor. As indeed, Flavor pulls over on the main straight to let these two by. Ledger has now been on those tires 20 laps. Raptor has gotten by Ryan Hurricane, so move Raptor up into the 10th position. He's incurred a time penalty in the process. This is the most active battle on the circuit right now, as Raptor is pulling away from Hurricane farther back in the grid. The question, though, is all based on when does Ledger finally come into pit lane. Another lap. Ledger, 21 laps on his soft tires. While he didn't start on that set of tires, he's ran most of the race on them. He was involved in earlier incidents, so he had to repair damage. He elected to throw on softs, and it seems like he's been able to get a good amount of length out of the softs. Careless Jackson is finally boarding his around the softs. He's run 22 on his set. That will plummet him likely out of the top 10. I'm honestly fascinated by the fact that Ollie cannot overtake Ledger when Ledger's tires are this old. That Ledger's tires still are good enough. He's obviously losing chunks of time to the top 2, but Ledger isn't really losing a whole lot of time to the other drivers on circuit, despite how old those tires are. I'm really honestly shocked at that. Raptor has worked his way up into 9th, and Sasha Andre is up in 8th at the moment. This continues to be the only real battle of interest, and again, I don't know if Ollie can't overtake Ledger or if he's not really trying to, because Ledger is going to have to pit eventually to put on a new set of tires. 21 laps on this set, but Ollie has a huge run on Ledger this time. The amount of time lost on the side, so Ollie took a look but couldn't make it stick. Ollie will have another shot at the DRS going down that short back straightaway though. Also of note, level 6 Beastian is under threat to go a lap down in the next few laps, maybe within this lap, honestly. Again, the Mercedes continue to be a very temperamental car. The drivers struggle to keep pace on. Ollie's still right there behind Ledger. Out the back of the Williams. Very respectable run by Ledger, though. But when he pits, I'm curious to see how far back he's going to fall. Ollie taking another look. Ollie's getting a little bit impatient by the looks of it. The Alpha will have the speed to overtake the Williams going down the main straight this time for sure. He's way closer now than he was before. Does Ledger pit or does he stay out? There it is. He's finally going to make his stop. 22 laps on a set of tires. This will promote Ollie into 3rd, and Zola will get 4th. Ledger, how far back will he fall? Ozda will get by him. He'll go up into 5th. Gusty should be able to take 6th, but I think that will be the extent. But we'll be close. Sasha might... Yeah, Sasha's going to get by him also. Ledger will be back onto the circuit ahead, just by a small amount, but he will be ahead of Raptor. At this point, Raptor's tires are a little bit older. They're not as fresh as they were before, so it's going to be harder for Raptor to get by Ledger. Interesting choice, though. Ledger got on the medium tires that he started the race on. So these tires already have had a heat cycle on them, so they're going to get up to pace real quickly. He'll be slower than Raptor for a bit. And he's not going to have a super long lifespan on them, but these are the tires that he feels confident to go with. So, a very strange decision to say the least. Now he gets a time penalty. But now, most of the battles on track have pretty much evaporated and are no more. The question now becomes... For our 2 leaders, when do they decide to come into pit lane? Volbeat and Mr. Harrison have been on this set of tires since the start, despite having a full course safety car about 9 laps into this race. No one except for Zola changed tires during that yellow. So as it stands right now, everyone is working on either the strategy they started the race with or a strategy that's been slightly modified after the start of the race. TR Flavor is now in the pit lane to put on new tires, but again, he is a lap down, as is his teammate level 6 Beastian. Raptor has closed in on Ledger. He's got DRS on him on the straights now. The question is, can he get by Ledger before staying in the aerodynamic wake of Matt Williams for too long, ends up compromising his own tire life. Also note, Oz at 24 laps on his tires. He's going to be pitting sooner rather than later. Ollie, Anderson, and Bullbeast will all be paid sooner rather than later as well. Oh, and Hurricane's out! And Hurricane has had an accident, and he is out of the race there. You can see him off circuit. No full course yellow, though. It seems like they're going to stay green for the moment. Yep, they'll stay green, but we're going to try and get Ryan Hurricane in here to see what he has to say about what's taking him out of the race. That is a full... Oh, well, now it's become a full course safety car. So the full course safety car is out now. And for Careless Jackson, who is at threat of going a lap down, this is perfect. Because he will get a chance to catch back up to the back of the grid. Smoothie elected to come into the pits, and he's throwing on hard tires, so he's anticipating that he can stay on these hards to the end of the race. And your leaders, BG Bullbeast and Mr. Anderson, will inevitably use this as a chance to put new tires on. But of note, Smoothie put on new hard tire compounds. He'll be running those to the end of this race. I'll be interested to see what Bullbeast and Anderson are putting on. The answer for Bullbeast is soft tires. The answer for Anderson, softs as well. Ollie is coming into the pits. Zola is coming in. Ozda is coming in. So Zola, despite making an extra pit stop, has now basically ended up on the same strategy as the leaders. Gusty, is he going to pick considering he only has 8 laps on those tires? No, he will stay out, but Sasha will come in. Ledger is going to pit. Raptor is going to stay out. Gusty actually ends up getting leapfrogged up into 3rd in all this process. Also of note, because the leaders pitted, this put Beastian back on the lead lap, interestingly enough. Sasha and Ledger are both making stops. Careless Jackson, is he going to stop or not? He's on relatively fresh mediums. He honestly could consider staying out on these. That's exactly what he's going to do. We already covered Smoothie. I'm interested to see if Beastian's going to pit as well. He has enough of a gap over the leaders right now that he could pit and not run the risk of going a lap down. No, he's going to stay out at least one more lap. So he'll be closer to the leaders when he does make his stop, if he elects to stop under this yellow flag. But of note, BG Bullbeast, Mr. Anderson restarting the softs, and as it is right now, no one's going to beat them unless they make massive mistakes in the first 2 or 3 laps after a restart. Gusty, though, has been promoted up into 3rd, and he's on medium tires, so his tires will fall off at about the same time that Bullbeast and Anderson's do. Ollie is now up into 4th on fresh softs, so he's going to go hard on Gusty, I imagine. Raptor is on used softs. They're starting to peak, but we've seen those softs can apparently last anywhere from 18 to 21 laps, depending on how long you want to stick with them. So he doesn't have to pit immediately, but he'll be the first of the leaders to do so, more likely. Zola stayed out. He is on slightly more medium, so he'll be out on circuit for a while. Ozza is on fresh mediums, the freshest of all the mediums, so the longer and longer this thing goes on, it's going to really play into his favor. Same with Sasha Andre, who is a little bit further back, and then Ledger is on soft tire compounds. Careless Jackson is on slightly more mediums. Smoothie 25 is on hards and will not make another stop for the rest of the day, I imagine. Or if he does, it will be to throw on softs and go for fastest lap point at the very end of this race. And then for level 6 Beastian, we still don't know if he's going to elect to make a stop this lap or not. It does not look like it. He is still out there on medium tires. He might honestly catch the back of the field by the end of this lap. And if he does, I think we'll be going green. Frustrating for TIR Flavor. A spin on the restart after the prior safety car trapped him way farther back than normal, and as normally he just doesn't have a lot of pace. He normally gains his positions by avoiding time penalties, but he's been set a lap down and he's buried in the middle of a bunch of lead lap cars. It's not been a great day for Flavor whatsoever, and his chance of earning points, while not completely gone, they're not looking that great right now. Yeah, right now it looks like Beastian might be able to catch the back of the grid before the end of this lap, and if he chooses to pit, he would still have time to catch them again. So is the safety car coming in this lap? Still seeing lights on the safety car. It doesn't look like it's pulling away, so we're going to go another lap under yellow flag. And we'll go green on lap 32, just a little bit before halfway in this event. But Beastian has caught the back of the grid. If he's going to stop, this is his best opportunity to do so. No, he is staying out. So the entire field has gathered up. We'll be going green on lap 32. Right now, the only drivers who seem to be in the same zip code as Bullbeast in race itself seems to be Mr. Anderson. I'll be interested to see if he can actually do anything. Into the green very shortly here. There we are, safety cars pulling away. We'll be coming green shortly here. Will Mr. Anderson be able to do anything to his teammate Bullbeast? Bullbeast likely will be out of this car after the drivers get rebalanced. This will be Anderson's best chance to do anything to him. As the green flag is underway, Anderson has a run on Bullbeast, but he can't pull alongside in the braking zone. No changes in the top four. Raptor trying to hold off Zola. Sasha Andre gets by Ledger. And it's a gaggle of cars here in the midfield. Ledger trying to make something happen on these very lightly used softs. He's on the inside of Sasha Andre, and he will take 8th. So Ledger now going to go for a shot at Ozda. Interestingly enough, Raptor not too far away from Ollie, and Ollie is there on Gusty, but the top two are already opening up a significant gap on everyone third on back. This literally has become a battle for third all day today. Ollie to the inside of Gusty. Neck and neck for the third position going down the straight. But it looks like Gusty has the advantage for now. Ooh, Zola very smooth on the inside of Raptor. So smooth we didn't even see it coming. And that left Raptor trapped on the outside. He gets freight trained by a ton of drivers and ends up backing up Sasha Andre to Careless Jackson in the process. Like before, it seems like Raptor's soft tires start to die off after about 10-11 laps, and that's roughly the same point they're at now. So his choice to stay out on warm softs seems to be biting him in the derriere right now. But Ollie, with fresh softs going against Gusty with slightly, moderately used mediums. Ledger gets a time penalty while trying to squeeze by Ozda. Zola has now closed in on Ollie. Zola has better tires than Gusty, who's the driver holding Ollie up right now. So as long as Gusty is ahead of Ollie, it's going to drag everyone from 5th on back up to them. Bolby sets the fastest lap of the day, unsurprisingly. Now Ozzy gets a time penalty trying to defend against Ledger. Ollie's right there behind Gusty. We can't seem to do anything to him yet. Gusty a little bit offline out of the hairpin. Not enough for it to really compromise Ollie. Seems to be the battle that is indirectly facilitating every other fight on the racetrack. Once Ollie is by Gusty, I imagine most of the other battles will clear up a bit. Ledger still trying to put some pressure on Ozda for the 6th position, but again, Ozda just needs to hold steady. He is guaranteed to gain a lot of track position the longer this run goes on. Ollie has DRS on the Alpine of Gusty. Down the front straightaway, he'll dive to the inside. They'll be neck and neck on the run down to turn 1. And the position finally goes in Ollie's favor as Zola and Ozda are neck and neck for 5th. Zola gets trapped on the outside. Ozda gets by. Ledger is going to squeeze his way by as well. Zola falls all the way back to 7th now. Ozda, that's great. He was able to gain another position. Despite being pressurized from behind, Ozda is on one of his best drives that we've seen him from throughout most of his career in XRL. Probably his best drive since his first one at Spa, where he ran in the podium positions all day long until penalties late and a late yellow flag dropped him back. Ozda en route to a very, very solid run today. Strategy is working very well in his favor, and if he can close in on Gusty and Ollie just a bit, it would be even better. For Ollie, he has now gotten away and opened up a significant gap against Gusty. It's all going to be about what can Ozda do to Gusty at this point, and if Ledger can do anything to Ozda, because this is the other thing. If Ledger can't get by Ozda, but Ozda can get by Gusty, Ledger is almost guaranteed to be able to get by Gusty himself. Zola, time penalty for track violations. So now everyone except for the Aston Martins up front and TR Flavor, who is a lap and a half down, now have earned time penalties. Oh, I'm sorry, no, TR Flavor is almost 2 laps down, actually. Riding on board with Raptor, who was your pole sitter, has not led a single lap today, has been buried in the midfield most of today's race just due to poor tire strategy. He's been blisteringly fast on softs, but not good on starts and restarts. And after about 10 laps on the 11, 12 laps on the softs, he starts falling off significantly in pace compared to the other drivers who are on softs. Sasha, looking to the inside of Zola. Zola gave him the room, but Sasha couldn't commit. Now, he's trying to go for a crossover, still not fast enough to commit through this sector, but he's putting some immense pressure on Zola. Sasha is on fresher tires than Zola right now. And But Sasha is doing a good job not being in the aerodynamic wake of that McLaren throughout most of these corners. That is going to work wonders for him as this goes on because it means that his tire's lifespan is being preserved. He's got a huge run on Zola going down the straightaway. Zola on the inside, Sasha on the outside. Sasha has DRS against the McLaren. Raptor is going to try and follow through. Zola just cuts right in front of Raptor. Raptor is going to be fuming about that. Also, Ledger has caught Mazda once more on the back straightaway, but he's not close enough to do anything. Mazda is now behind Gusty, and Mazda's going to want to get by Gusty as fast as possible, because if he can get by Gusty, he might be in a position where he can lead laps later on when the top 3 drivers pit. But Mazda needs to get by Gusty as soon as possible in order to do so. A little bit of a trip by Mazda leaves Ledger with a shot at him around the outside. Neck and neck. This section where you normally don't go side by side at, and he's going to get by, but he can't make it sick through the corner. Mazda will hold on to 5th for the moment, and for Gusty, a sigh of relief, these two will fall off of his rear end for just a little bit. Mazda needs to hold steady. He doesn't have to push extremely hard. The track position will come to him. He just needs to keep Ledger behind so Ledger doesn't hold him off when his tires are falling off. But as it stands right now, Ledger has DRS. Mazda does not. Mazda is going to try and follow the aerodynamic wake of Gusty ahead. That's TR Flavor. I'm sorry, that wasn't Gusty, that was Flavor, who's going to go who's now 2 laps down. Don't know why there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. There's literally nobody there on the racetrack. Ledger to the outside of Mazda. And he's going to power out around the outside with the soft tires. They're still side by side, but he has the position advantage, but now has a time penalty. Mazda has lost the spot to Ledger, and this is going to put a little bit of a kink in Mazda's plans. Again, Mazda will still be able to stay on track longer than Ledger, but Ledger can stay on track depending on how long the softs last for him for maybe another 12 to 13 laps. Mazda, though, will have DRS on Ledger going down the main straightaway. Easy overtake. Mazda sails by 1.5 seconds away from Gusty. Ledger, though, is close enough to get DRS on the back straight. Might be able to throw himself along the outside of Mazda again and try and power down out of the hairpin. He's got enough speed to make a move, but there's nowhere on track for him to make it really stick a serious move. So it will be Mazda will stay in 5th. Mazda now closing in on Gusty once more. But Ledger is still closer to Mazda than Mazda is to Gusty. Mazda needs to get right underneath Gusty and overtake him. Overtake the Alpine going down the main straight. If he can do so, then he can use Gusty as a pick to keep Ledger behind for a little bit. Sasha has finally gotten by Raptor as well. I forgot to mention that when it happened. This will be it. Mazda is going to have DRS on Gusty. Ledger will still have DRS on Mazda as well. Here comes Mazda, powering down the main straight. He should be close enough to get alongside under braking. Can't make it stick. He'll get another shot on the back straightaway. But he's going to be held up through these corners. Now bring Ledger into the play. The Alpine can't make it stick as well as Mazda by any means. Mazda is going to get extremely frustrated because this is going to put him under threat from Ledger again. He dives to the outside, the same thing that Ledger did on him earlier, but he can't make it stick. He runs extremely wide. Ledger actually was able to get alongside Mazda in the process. Neck and neck, it and that's Ledger's chance to go after Gusty. Ledger on soft tires, but those soft tires will start falling off in the next few laps. Ledger's not going to have much more chance to get by Gusty, and Ozza's going to want to get by them both fast before their tires die way too much, and he's hemorrhaging way too much time on the track behind them. Ledger is going to have DRS on Ollie, on Gusty, going down the straightaway. Careless Jackson has had another accident on circuit there in Sector 2. Ledger not close enough to do anything to Ollie. Ozza not close enough to do anything to Ledger as well. Ledger will be a little bit closer going down the back straightaway though. Not close enough to make anything happen. Because right underneath the rear wing of that Alpine. But the position without a doubt is in Gusty's favor, and Ozza's actually fallen off significantly from these two. I think he's just going to let them go at it, let them burn their tires off. He's going to have to hope to try and overtake them both going down the straight. Here comes Ledger with the move. Neck and neck in a section of the circuit you don't normally see him go side by side at. And he does the crossover. Can't make it stick all the way through, though. Gusty still has the position against Ledger. Ledger to the inside again. Gusty's faster around, but can't make it stick. The tires are falling off for him. Ledger on the outside. Gusty's going to hold standing on the inside. It's full throttle for this section of the circuit. Ozza's going to have a great amount of DRS and draft off both of them. Ledger is going to have DRS off of Gusty. They're going to be side by side at the line, and Ozza's going to be faster than all three of them. To the inside comes Ozza. He's going to overtake one. Both cars going down the straightaway. Ozza from 6th to 4th. Very well played on his part. And now Gusty falls behind Ledger, and Ledger is going to have another chance to get by Ozza. In fact, he's already got back by Ozza. Ozza is trying to fight back going through the corners. Can't make anything stick yet, though, as they come onto the back straightaway. Ozza will have DRS. He pulls to the inside, neck and neck, trying to pinch Ledger on the outside. Ledger cannot get a gas. He does. He gets a great run exiting the hairpin. They're going to be side by side again on the run uphill. Through the next several corners, though, it's going to be in Ledger's favor. Ozza holding very steady. They're neck and neck as they crest the hill again. Ozza stays ahead of Ledger for the moment, and it's Ozza in front of Ledger. Ledger dives to the inside, trying to complete a crossover move. They're side by side still. Can't make it stick. Nor can he. Coming down to the last braking point on this section of the racetrack, Ledger just barely ahead of Ozza. He pitched Ozza to the outside. Dane is now Ozza will have DRS on him, and Zola is within striking distance of this entire battle. The menage a trois has turned into a foursome. Ozza, DRS on the outside of Ledger. He will easily power by. Ledger falls in line behind Ozza, but here comes Gusty with a head to DRS. Here comes Zola. He can't make it stick though. Ledger is trapped on the outside, but Gusty is falling off significantly with his tire wear. Ledger is going to hold the position over Gusty for the moment. Zola is there, can't figure out where to get by for maximum ability. Gusty has DRS on Ledger, but Ledger still has it on Ozza. Gusty to the inside of Ledger. And they make contact! They both get really sideways through the apex, and that brings Zola right back into the fight once more. Ledger gets away. Zola is on the inside of Gusty, side by side, but right now Gusty is in the position where he can choose the lane that he wants against the McLaren. And farther up, Ozza is going to have to deal with Ledger once more. Ledger and the Williams is still there, ready to take the fight against the AlphaTauri. For now, the battle seems to have settled down just a little bit, but DRS is about to come into play. Also of note, Sasha Andre has closed in on the back end of this fight as well. Ledger has DRS on Ozza, but not close enough to do anything. In fact, it seems like Zola is going to be the one to try and do something this time to the inside of Gusty. Can't make it stick. He clambers over the curbing on the inside and compromises his line significantly, and Sasha gets by Zola. Zola's trying to fight back. Can't make it stick, though. Sasha promotes himself up into the position. Ledger right there behind Ozda, and while drivers like Raptor definitely feel the softs give off after about 12 laps, Ledger is not having anything of that same problem. He's just as racy now as he was when those softs were fresh. Ozda is doing a tremendous job on the medium tires that have been slower, holding his own against Ledger, who's been faster, and as these laps continue to tick on, as long as Ozda can keep Ledger behind him, the battle will go more and more in Ozda's favor. The big thing though, the wild card in it is going to be the DRS zone. Ledger, if he can stay close enough to Ozda to get DRS, oh, Zola gets back by Sasha Andre there. But if Ozda is not far enough ahead of Ledger to negate the DRS advantage, Ledger can get by Ozda cleanly, and then Ozda can end up spinning an entire lap or more behind him, stuck in the aerodynamic wake, not being able to get by a slower car. Ledger not close enough to use the DRS to overtake Ozda that time. Zola ahead of Sasha for the moment. But it looks like Zola's going to hold it over Sasha. Ozda still trying to fight off Ledger. Ledger this time got a better run on the inside out of the hairpin, but he's been trapped on the outside against Ozda. Ledger doesn't care. He's going to try and make it side by side. They are side by side as they crest the hill. Still neck and neck. Crossover move, and Ledger is going to completely not quite finish it though. And Ozda holds on to the position for the moment. Ledger is still there. In fact, now Ledger is closer than he was before. So Ledger is easily going to have DRS on Ozda going down the main straightaway this time. Nothing that Ozda can do. The DRS is significantly that much better. A little bit of contact. Ozda gets run wide. Ledger back ahead of Ozda. Ozda not close enough to do anything going down the back straightaway. Sasha not close enough to do anything to Zola either. Also of note, while they were fighting, Gusty was actually able to close back in on this fight. Gusty has been on those tires for 26 laps. They're not dead yet, but he's not really competitive with them at this point. Ozda struggling to stay in the draft of Ledger. Going through this sector of the circuit, Ledger has been significantly more aggressive and more confident in his car, but Ozda has made generally fewer mistakes. And Ozda has also been much better on capitalizing. Mr. Anderson pitting out second position right now. He's going to come back on circuit in the middle of this massive battle. Ozda with a great run of DRS against Ledger down the straight. There's not going to be anything Ledger can do except take it. Neck and neck for the position, and Ozda will easily overtake Ledger. Ledger still fast enough to dive to the inside in turn 2. Crossover, can't make it stick, runs a little bit too wide. Ozda's still going to hold the position, but Ledger's going to be right under him going down the back straightaway. Ledger has the speed, has the DRS, he looks to the outside, they make contact, side by side, and Ledger's going to try to do that same thing he's done twice before, but the power down perfectly exceeding the hairpin side by side as they go through this next sector of the circuit, and it's going to be Ledger still ahead of Ozda with 17 lap-worn soft tires and still putting on an amazing fight here. And this has brought Sasha, Andre, and Zola back up to it. This has turned into a 5-car battle for what has now become the 3rd position on the racetrack. And the thing that's really made this the most interesting is that the top two in this battle just will not stop fighting. However, Ledger doesn't have DRS, everyone behind him does. Gusty is finally pitting and taking off his medium tires neck and neck for the position. A little bit of contact. Ledger may have just lost an end plate. Yes, Ledger has lost an end plate. And that might be it. That may be the end of this battle between Ozda and Ledger. Indeed, it seems like it. Ledger not able to maintain grip on the circuit. Zola and Sasha will sneak by him. Gusty elected to pit. He's thrown on softs that will last him to the end of this race. Oh, Sasha and Zola have just spun now. And they're going to plummet backwards through the field in the process. It's not going to help them one bit. But they go right back to racing. And Bullbeast is now pitting out of the lead. And this means that for the first time today, a non-Aston Martin driver will lead the race, and that will be XRL Ollie. And Ozda is going to be close enough to inherit second, but is not close enough to get ahead of Bullbeast, sadly. Ledger pitting once more. Oh, and Ledger's out! As Ledger had next and coming into the pit lane. Ledger may have had an accident coming into pit road. And Smoothie has gotten by Zola and is now trying to work on Sasha Andre. We're going to try and get Ledger in here real quick and see what happened. Where's Ledger? Alright, cool. So apparently Xbox doesn't acknowledge Ledger's existence. So I'm not going to be able to invite him, sadly. Smoothie, who put on hards and will not be stopping for the rest of the day, will still likely overtake Sasha Andre and potentially Ozda as well. Ollie is now pitting out of the lead, and that will give the lead back to BG Bullbeast. But Ollie has led a lap, and that is a very significant accomplishment on his own. Ozda will sneak by Ollie and will inherit third. We are 16 laps from the end of this race. Will Ozda stay on the track on these medium tires, or will he pit again? I think Ozda will likely pit again in the next 8 or so laps and throw on a set of softs to go hard to the end of the race. Ollie in pit lane putting on softs, and Zola is going to put on a set of soft tires as well. So yeah, I think for Ozda, it would be a great idea, not immediately, but in the next few laps, to go ahead and throw on a set of softs to go hard to the end. It wouldn't be so great to throw on softs now, because if you threw on soft tires now, you'd end up right back where you were, fighting with drivers, other drivers on the circuit. I'm going to try and get Ledger in here one more time. Alright, here we are. Bullbeast. Back in the 119s, so he's beginning to set lap times again that are a little bit more comparable to what we were seeing in the first round of qualifying. And those times will only continue to drop. Ollie overtakes Smoothie by virtue of having soft tires. Smoothie will have DRS, but he's taking off the hards. So Smoothie is not going to stay on the hards to the end. Even though he was guaranteed at least 1 or 2 more positions by doing so, he is going to throw on what will probably be a set of soft tire compounds to go to the end with. Very interesting decision on his part. He's going to end up fighting with Zola once more in the process. Oh, and he's out! And it looks like he's been disconnected or something. Well, it's not anticipated to say the least. That will benefit Beastian though, as Beastian will now end up in the points paying positions. So the focus once more goes to Ozzy. Here comes Mr. Anderson. Anderson is on fresh softs. Ozzy on warm mediums. Very warm considering how long he was fighting out there. Anderson easily cruising by Oz. There's just nothing that he can do to defend. Ollie behind Sasha Andre. Sasha has yet to make another stop. We are still 14 laps to the end, so if Ozda and Andre were to elect not to stop, they'd have 36 lap warm mediums. I wouldn't feel super confident with that. Make something happen against Sasha, but his best bet right now is to just stay within striking range of DRS throughout Sector 3. He's out of the final braking zone right now, and he's got relatively, not super, but relatively clean air on his front wing, so he'll have a good run on Sasha going down the straight, and the help of soft tires will be massive. Neck and neck for the position, and with DRS assistant, make just barely a hair of contact, and Ollie will get by Sasha Andre for the 4th position. Go ahead and try and get Smoothie 25. The race has calmed down a bit, so we're going to try and see if Smoothie 25 is able or willing to join us. It says he's offline, so he's probably not in a position to join us, but I'm going to check irregardless. So at this point, the question is simply, does Ozza stay out on the medium tires for these last 13 laps? Or does he come into the pits? If Ozda elected to pit, he would fall likely back to about the 6th or 7th position. What in the world was that? I'm guessing that was TIR Flavor, who was running slow on the straight. This Flavor is 2 laps down, has been having no luck whatsoever today, and has also earned a time penalty. In fact, the only driver who has not gotten a time penalty today has been BG Bullbeast. It has been an outstanding race today. Ozda and Ledger carrying on a fight for the better part of 12 laps alone was worth the price of admission. We've seen other great battles today, but honestly, the drive that Ozda's put in that AlphaTauri today could very potentially be career-defining. TIR Flavor now looks like he's about to go 3 laps down. I'm sorry, that's Beastian. He's going 2nd lap down. So now Beastian going what will be 2 laps down now. Or is that just 1 lap? Oh no, he got a lap back earlier. You're right. So yeah, Beastian is now only a single lap down. Flavor is 3 laps down though still. And then who can forget about our dominant driver? We've not talked a lot about him today. A good thing in this scenario, BG Bullbeast has not set a foot run in Q1, has not set a foot run